For more analysis on this, we're now going to talk to co-founder of the citizen advocacy group, Le Contradicts du Net, Jeremy Zimmerman, who's joining us live from Strasbourg. Thanks for being with us. Now that ACTA has been turned down, what's the alternative? Because several countries were keen to sign up for the anti-copyright law before this.
Well, first of all, it is a huge victory for citizenship, for democracy, and for freedoms online. We've worked very hard for the last 4 years to achieve this. And it's the whole of the citizens of the internet, in a network global public sphere, who achieved this victory. But as you say, this victory must be the beginning of something else. And through the victory on ACTA, we hope that the EU policymakers will understand that this endless spiral of repression that is being pushed for the last 15 years by the entertainment industry has to stop. That combating our cultural practices online is not an option and would only be done at the expense of our fundamental freedoms and of the very fabric of what is a free internet. So we have concrete proposals, and they're already on the table of the EU policymakers, about reforming copyright, about making our cultural practices legal, that sharing and remix of cultural goods be made legal into the law, so we can end this war against sharing. This is urgent, and I hope that through the ACTA battle, the members of the European Parliament understood. If you heard at yesterday's debate, you heard members of all the groups, all the parties, claiming that copyright has to change. So this is a signal that citizens send through the internet to policymakers, and this is a signal, this is a symbol of global scale. It goes way beyond the borders of the European Union.
But have the protesters, have they got a legitimate solution to this? I mean, this is the internet we're talking about.
Yes, well, the internet today is a global online public sphere. This is where people meet. This is where people discuss. This is where public opinion crystallizes. This is where we can discuss concrete proposals as alternative to ill-founded policies. If you look on how ACTA was drafted, it was mostly a few US-based industries and a few unelected representatives who agreed together. What we can do all together in the open with a free, decentralized, universal internet will be of much better quality, I can assure you.
As an advocate for cyber freedom, could you tell us where you think the line is between where one person's rights becomes an infringement?
Sorry, again?
Where do you think the line should be drawn, where one person's rights becomes an infringement?
Oh. Well, in copyright, you have this notion of fair use. In author's right, it's called the limitations and exceptions. And those are parts where the artist doesn't have his word. The author cannot, for instance, ban you from lending a book, cannot ban you from making a parody of his work, because lending books and parodies are of general interest. So what should govern policy making is this notion of general interest. When it comes to file sharing online, you have dozens of independent studies, including one from the French Three Strikes Authority, Adopi, that prove that people who share the more files on the internet are the people who spend the more for culture. The same way that people who borrow the more books in libraries are the people who buy more books. So when we do file sharing between individuals and not for profit, it's actually beneficial for culture, because the more people access culture, the more culture they get. And the more culture they get, the more they like authors and artists. And the more they like them, the more they spend for them to support them. So this practice of file sharing between individuals and not for profit is not only legitimate, but it is beneficial for culture and for its economy, therefore for society as a whole. So sharing between individuals, not for profit, must be made an exception to copyright. This is a very easy.
Jeremy, sorry to interrupt you. Just briefly, I want you to tell me, certainly people are going to be arguing that ditching ACTA could be a green light for pirates and fraudsters to openly defy copyright law. Briefly, what do you say to that argument?
Well, what I say is that it's the notion of copyright itself that should be revised. We all have the capacity today to participate in culture, to share, to rip, to remix. We are all participants to culture, and it is a fundamental right to participate in culture. It is Article 27 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We all have the rights to participate in culture, and now we have the technology to do so. So it is copyright that should be adapted to society and not the other way around, and not through opaque, anti-democratic processes through ACTA, but within parliaments, with citizens being heard. And I hope that ACTA, the defeat of ACTA, is the beginning of this.
All right, Jeremy Zimmerman, co-founder and spokesperson for citizen advocacy group Le Contradicts du Net, live for us on the line from Strasbourg. Thanks for that.
Thank you.